misconceptions in the Somali community and how the media portrays us.
When you're white in America or Canada,
Yeah.
you get to be just a guy. To create some sort of causal connection between your race.
One by one, each one teach one. That approach you took was very good.
Thank you,
I just
man.
want to applaud you.
This is an honest conversation.
Yeah.
What do you know about Somalis? Like, have you heard, the one thing that pops into your head is just Somalis, go.
Black Hawk Down.
Ah, no, yeah, be honest. That's what I'm talking about.
And then when he said it, I thought he said Black Hawk Down. I was like, what?
You know, where the Black Hawk went down. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Then we got on our last flight to Rome, and we were there for about a year. And then my parents...
Earlier when you said it, Dave too was like, what?
No, I didn't
No,
say
you said Black
Hawk.
Hawk Down, remember?
It's the Black Hawk.
But then when you said it, I thought you said
Sounds like a Somali porn. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no,
Okay, so Black Hawk Down. Have you
Down.
watched it? You watched the movie,
watched it 3
the Black
times.
Hawk Down?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I watched it a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then, I've met friends that were from Somalia, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like, tell me everything about Somalia. We just
Yeah.
like, all right, cool, you're from Somalia.
Let's
Let's
just
spend
hang.
time. Yeah.
Exactly. You watch Captain Phillips?
Yes, I've
Yeah.
seen Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
I thought that was an accurate portrayal of the Somalis I've met.
Hey, thank you. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to Somalis.
Yeah.
And
I do know that you guys had the hardest time getting into Canada.
Yeah.
And I am aware that Canada has had a very good record historically with immigration and people coming into Canada, but that Somalis were a particular case where it was not so easy and it was not as fair and equitable as before, and that they did pass that one law, which was that you had to have a passport or some form of legal identification to take advantage of the immigration laws in Canada.
Yeah.
And I believe they changed that right around the Somali war, so it affected a lot of Somalis
Of course,
coming.
yeah.
So that is the one thing I'm aware of.
Yeah, what I'm trying to get at is that there's a lot of misconceptions in the Somali community and how the media portrays us and whatnot.
I think it's like a spectrum. So on the one hand, it's terrorist, and the other hand, on the far end, is like absence of Islam, you're a gangster. You know what I mean? So one guy's like practicing religion, the other guy is like, he is a gangster.
Yeah.
Watch out for this dude.
Yeah.
And I kind of see it. It kind of like it's like a vicious cycle. They portray that.
Yeah.
But I feel like they don't show enough of educated, well-to-do Somalis. And so portraying positive stereotypes is something that we're working on right now.
Yeah.
So we're struggling with that.
Eddie, so I'll go to Bueller in a minute, but like Eddie, why is it that like in the American media especially, right? One, I will just touch on it real quickly, but what happened in Ohio, that gentleman, Abdul Razak Ali, he went out and there was a fire alarm pulled. Everybody has heard about it, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but he ran people with his car and they came out of the car and started stabbing the students and faculty members and anybody that was walking. And now that the news is showing it, especially American news, and I'm going to ask you because you're an American, right? Why is it that they constantly use the same words over and over and over? So they use Somali because he's Somali, refugee, he's Muslim, terrorist, same words over and over and over when the man is an actual legal resident of America, right? So he's an American citizen. So why is it that they keep using the word refugee as opposed to anything else?
Yeah, well, I would start by saying, first of all, anytime a white person commits a crime, they have the benefit of it not reflecting on their race or their country, where that person's from.
Right.
Like a white, I remember seeing a news story where a guy like broke into a house in Florida, ate the inside of a vacuum cleaner, and then took a dump on the top of a house. At no point was it like, this was a white man doing it. In my head, I heard the news, like, this gotta be a white guy. This is definitely a white guy.
Nobody else is doing that.
Nobody else is doing that.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know if it was real or fake or whatever. I remember it was like on Huffington Post or something. But even in the write-up of that news, whether it was real or it was fake, no one was like, it's an Irishman or it's an Englishman or he's Italian or whatever. It's just, it's a guy.
Yeah.
You know, when you're white in America or Canada, you get to be just a guy.
Yeah.
If you're Chinese or Somalian or Korean or whatever, then they're going to put that kind of starter pack on your back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're Somalian, they're going to shout it out. Oh, was he Muslim? We're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And they create this story and they try to create some sort of causal connection between your race and the action you've done as an individual. And then it's not an individual acting, it's the group acting. It's not that one guy who is an American citizen that committed the heinous crime at Ohio State. it's your entire community.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bueller.
Yeah, well, exactly what he said. As they grant, certain white people individuality, right?
Right.
They get
So,
immunity.
Yeah.
Diplomatic immunity, perhaps?
immunity.
Some races get immunity.
Yeah, they do.
Other races, you do something, it's your whole race did it with you.
Yeah.
And I also think that the news media knows what's going to incite people, what's going to get them going, they're gonna click on the internet.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there are a lot of ignorant people who it's harder to go understand a culture. It's harder to go study Islam, read the Quran, and see what it's actually about.
Right.
It's
That takes
easier to think that it's evil, and then you want news to confirm your suspicion.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to go do the work.
Yeah.
It's easier to hate something. And I think that's why so many people grab onto these news headlines and they're like, oh, it's affirming something. See, I didn't need to go meet these. For instance, there was the white kid that went to the church and committed that heinous crime, shooting the people praying in the church.
Yeah.
But at no point did you see headlines about being white fueling his hate or Christianity. And like, how many wars have been fought on behalf of Christianity in the Crusades? I would say we're still fighting those wars. It's still on behalf of that Judeo-Christian value and that not value, but that kind of Judeo-Christian desire to convert people. That desire, I think, still drives so much politics and so much conflict around the world.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Just for you speaking about that, I saw this YouTube clip where you had a Trump supporter. You were talking to a Trump supporter outside. That girl, you had the patience of a monk. I don't know how you did it, but she was. I mean, it's not she was a bad person.
Andrea just came by in the middle of the interview, and she wanted to stop by and tell us something. What were you telling me?
My father, he's really big into, he studies and does research on what radical Islamic terrorists are doing in our country right now. And there's a lot of literature on it. I wouldn't know it off the top of my head, but essentially he believes that, she is helping to push that. So there's a law that he said is sitting right now at the federal level, and it has to do with Sharia law and things like that. But if she is elected, that law will pass, and that will be one of the first laws that's going to, gradually take away our freedoms.
You think she's going to institute Sharia law?
It's already happening on U.S. soil.
She went to imright.com and downloaded
all
the information on imright. But it's like, there's so many websites and YouTube channels where you just, hey, I feel like this. Let me just brainwash myself more.
Yeah.
And then the way the Facebook algorithms and the way it's like the feed now is like, okay, listen, if you want to be, you want to be ignorant to everything else, you want to learn only about like fishing, for example, all you're going to have in your feed is fishing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you want that, that's what's going to happen,
So that
is what all the newspapers are doing.
Yeah.
They're aggregating news. If you want to just know what the top 5 hiking trails in California are, there's going to be a website for that, and they're just going to send you more hiking news.
And there's good things about that, but then at the same time, there's really bad things about that too. Because I love hiking, you know what I mean? But I want to learn about other things,
That approach you took, I really liked it, because usually when somebody has a social media or media platform, whatever platform they have, some people take advantage and kind of just say, "You're a moron." No, but you kind of went in depth with her, and I feel like people that's the whole individuality thing, right? One by one, each one teach one. That approach you took was very good.
Thank you,
I just want to applaud you.
Thank
on
you,
that.
thank you. When I talk to people with different opinions, I always try to either teach, educate, help them understand my perspective in the way that works for them. Because for us, we're pretty like-minded. I feel like we're like-minded in a way. This is therapeutic to be able to talk to other people like-minded. And it's a little bit of an echo chamber, but it's necessary because we're of a minority opinion, right? You build strength this way. But when I'm on a show or I'm meeting somebody who is not like-minded and doesn't understand, that I stand for multiculturalism and diversity and inclusion, then I do everything I can so that they can try to understand me on a human level. And I think it begins by respecting them on a human level, despite how ignorant or out to lunch they are.
We try